Welcome back on a Tuesday on Fox Sports 940 Miami and the iHeartRadio app with Steven Strom. I'm Kyle Seeloff. Thanks for joining us right here on another Tuesday. This is the Marlins Hot Stove Show. Hanukkah has come and gone. Christmas right around the corner. It's coming up next Monday. Happy holidays to everybody. It is incredible how quickly the off season flies by. In 6-7 weeks, we're going to be in Jupiter. And we're going to be getting geared up for another long run in 2024. It's going to be really, really exciting. Make sure, by the way, you go to marlins.com/tickets and get yourself locked in, whether it's just for a game, a full season, a half season package, whatever the case might be. It's such a fun place to come out and watch a ball game. So I hope everybody takes an opportunity in 2024 to come out and join us. And if you can't, and maybe you don't have the means to do so, I know Steven and I will be doing some stuff on social media, try to get some folks out to the ballpark, and some of the folks that love following us on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Steven, before we get into Love It or Leave It, I want to make note of a couple of things. Marlins' second annual Triple Play 5K presented by UHealth was last Saturday. It was a sold-out event.
Yep.
That's awesome. And I just wanted to make note of that. I was not there, simply too early. I saw John Jay and his foundation were out there. He was out there running it. And it was all put together by ADT, including other sponsors. So I just wanted to make note of that. I hope everybody had a terrific time out at Lone Depot Park. I said, you don't need to be a hero. Running is not particularly for me. I can do it. It's not something I want to do at 7 a.m, but I did just want to make note of the Triple Play 5K presented by UHealth and ADT last Saturday. The other thing, if folks have not followed us, joined us throughout the course of the offseason, I'll let you take it away here, is Marlins Rerun. We are working, Steven, in conjunction with the Miami Marlins in the wonderful documentary that they're putting out.
Yeah, and we dropped our first episode a couple of days ago. The first one was Luis Arraez's Cycle. Again, we, in conjunction with the documentary that our creative team has done, we just wanted to give you the nuts and bolts, and we wanted to really deep dive into things. I mean, I know as a fan, because that's what me and Kyle are ultimately. We are fans. Sometimes you forget about certain things that happen. We just want to make sure that we capture all of the moments and the context of everything. We're really proud of it. We're really excited about it. Episode 1 is out. Episode 2 is out. The episode 2 was Yuri's debut. And we cut the episode. The first one was 20. The second one was 10. Again, this is a feeler. We definitely want to continue to do stuff in the off season, and I thought this was a really nice idea. But episode 2, I think, is a lot cleaner, and I like it a lot. And we just highlighted Yuri Perez. So again, YouTube, Marlins Radio, on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. But we're gonna have 3 other episodes coming out, so we just wanted to plug that. It was really fun doing it, and shout out to JC for shooting, editing. He did a phenomenal job.
The other thing, too, I don't know if our next 3 episodes will be out before Christmas. If they are, maybe we can actually flip all that to the podcast page as well, and people can take a listen over the holidays. But you can find it on our Marlins Radio YouTube page. We've been promoting it on Marlins Radio on our Twitter account with some teasers and stuff. We link it out from there. As always, if you're joining us on the Marlins Hot Stove Show and you're missing the show live tonight, you can go back, or you're just joining us and you missed our conversation with Xavier Edwards. Go check out all of our stuff on the Marlins podcast page. So you know where to find us, and we appreciate everybody's support. It is time now for Love It or Leave It. So, Steven, take it away.
First of all, I just want to say that it feels like winter break right now. Like, you know, you're in college, and we're going to have 2 weeks off of the Hot Stove Show. So it's a little bit emotional. You know, I'm a very emotional person, Kyle. Mm-hmm. So, you know, last one of 2023 Hot Stove Show. This is also the last Love It or Leave It of 2023. So let's kick this thing off. Kyle Seeloff, Love It or Leave It, spring breakout. If you have not heard, I know you have heard about this, Kyle Seeloff, but Major League Baseball announced a new spring training event called Spring Breakout coming next March, the 14th through the 17th. All 30 clubs will assemble rosters filled with 20 to 25 of their best prospects to take on minor league and rookie talents from other organizations. Love it or leave it?
Absolutely. Why not try to put some of the premier prospects on different stages throughout the course of spring training? I love it. Go ahead, give it a shot, right? I think it's really cool. So absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Put some of the best prospects that'll soon be in the big leagues on a stage together. I think it's going to be great. Now, are the Marlins a part of it, though? I don't think they are.
I don't know.
I think there's 10.
All 30 MLB teams will assemble rosters with 20 to 25 of their best rookies. and minor
Oh,
league
okay.
talent.
Because I was looking and I saw the spring breakout 2024 and I only saw 10 games, which would be 20 teams. And I thought 10
Each
teams were.
team will play at least one 7-inning exhibition game as part of their initiative. One Arizona and one Florida organization will play 2 over the 4 days to make the math work. That's
Oh,
the
okay.
official.
Okay, got it. I should probably look into it a little bit more. I just saw a graphic. There was like 20 teams participating, and I saw the 10 games. I was like, where are the fish? I'd like to see some of their prospects.
Yeah.
I love it though. Give me the best prospects in the game in the spring. People love coming out watching spring training baseball. Get close to the players. Why not put some of the best young kids on the stage and let them play against one another?
And Kyle, we talked about this too. Like, it's hard to get excited about the MLB draft sometimes because we don't see these guys for years, maybe not
Correct.
ever. I
Correct.
think this can serve as almost like a college game or a high school game when you're watching like the McDonald's All-American basketball games. You're like, wow, like this kid, where's he going to sign? You don't have to worry about where he's signing. He's with the Marlins. And when can we potentially see him? Grow the game, grow your farm system, get people excited. I think it's fantastic for baseball. Number 2, love it or leave it, eggnog.
I've never really tried it. I'm out. What exactly is in it? All I think is like raw eggs, and I'm pretty much out on it.
I gotta be honest. I've never had it. I thought you strike me as an eggnog guy. That's why I asked.
No. What
No,
is eggnog made
because
of?
I'm out on it. I've never tried it. I guess I can't say
Eggs,
I'm out on
egg
it.
yolk, sugar, milk, heavy cream, and vanilla extract.
It's like cookie dough, not cooked. Well, cookie dough's not cooked.
It's often spiked with brandy. I like brandy, and it's topped with freshly grated nutmeg and/or cinnamon sticks.
Let's do a Christmas goal together. Let's have eggnog together.
No, I'm not drinking.
And let's post it on
no.
the Marlins radio.
My family, we've never drank it before, and I will not start now.
Okay.
Love it or leave it, leaving it.
Okay, I'm going to leave it too, but I'm going to try it, and I'm going to post on our Twitter when I'm at Grammys for Christmas Eve because we always go there. Hopefully I'm not Santa this year. All right, love it or leave it. MLB's first and second team selections. Luis Arraez off of the MLB first and second team selections. Ozzie Albies, Marcus Semien were in front of him, and no Tanner Scott. How about Emmanuel Clase getting that second team spot? Love it or leave it, Kyle?
Well, I'm going to leave it, obviously. I thought both were very deserving. I think it actually goes back to a conversation we were having in the first segment. When you take a look at the all-around body of work, I understand why Luis Arraez was left off of it. When they're putting these guys on these lists, they're looking at all the different components. Obviously, Luis Arraez was the best player in baseball this season at hitting for average, getting on base, and all that good stuff. Obviously, they're taking into consideration the ability to run, field, defend, hit for power, that stuff. I understand it. I'm going to leave it, though. And by the way, Tanner Scott should have been an all-star this year.
That's, to me, more egregious than Arraez. Tanner Scott was arguably the best reliever in baseball. Like I don't think Tanner Scott. If the Marlins don't have Tanner Scott, they don't get to the playoffs. I'm dead serious when I tell you that.
I agree. 74 appearances, 12 saves, a 2.31 ERA. That's a guy, by the way, who's set to start making some chunk of change in arbitration because here's the other thing. We don't need to bring this up too often, but it does frustrate me how oftentimes the Marlins are kind of just the forgotten link because there have been a lot of good players over the years and guys, there have been omissions over the years. I certainly feel like Arraez and Scott would certainly be 2 omissions this year. It's not going to give them the spark and MLB the spark that they're looking for and kind of that name recognition and that brand, which I think is really unfortunate because there's some terrific players down here and I think both should have been on that list.
Yeah, I think, like I said, Tanner Scott was more egregious than Arraez. I think they both deserved it, but if I had to get more upset about one of them, it'd be Tanner Scott. Second to last one, love it or leave it. The Marlins re-signing Matt Moore. 4 appearances, 4 innings, no runs in 2023 with the Marlins. Those are his stats, but overall, this season 5-1 with a 2.56 ERA.
So I love it. I'm not too sure what kind of deal that the 11-year left-handed veteran would get, but I do think the question that you have to ask is what are you asking him to do? Years ago, back in 2021, I say years ago, like it was a decade ago, but just a couple of years ago, when he was still starting, he was not effective. But since he's gone to a bullpen role, starting in 2022 with the Texas Rangers, and then this past season he played with the Angels, the Guardians, and then finished up 4 appearances with Miami, he has been spectacular in a relief role. I don't know if I'd be signing him to see if he could give you you'd be one of your everyday starting pitchers, a guy that's going to run out there every 5 days. Now he made $7.5 million last year.
Yeah,
If he's looking for that again
he's not going to
as
get that
a
here.
reliever, I don't think he'll be a Marlin, but I love the idea of bringing him back.
Yeah, I think if you're thinking about stretching out AJ Puck, I would probably try to work out a deal with more. But if he's going to be a starter, he's obviously going to make a lot more.
And they have a
So
lot of lefty options in the bullpen with
correct,
Nardi,
Scott,
Scott,
Ogert.
right?
Yep.
But we'll
Yeah.
see.
All right, last love it or leave it here. This is my favorite one because I came up with this on my own. Okay, I was sitting on this Sunday afternoon. Vikings didn't play. They had already lost and choked and spit the bit against Cincinnati. But I was thinking, hey, why doesn't Major League Baseball do an in-season tournament? Now, if you're not familiar with what I'm saying, the NBA, who plays 82 games, decided that they are going to do an in-season tournament. What they did was they separated it into groups. All 30 teams were into groups, and they did group stage like you would do in the FIFA World Cup, whatever it may be. It's a round robin type of style. First place in each group advances, and then they would have a fourth wild card team. So you'd have the 4 division leaders or the 3 division leaders, I think it's 3 or 4, and then the second best team out of all of them, right? And you take them and they would play against each other in a sudden death style. And then the top 4 teams, or the top 2 teams rather, would go to Las Vegas and play. The incentive is if you win, each player gets $500,000. That's a good chunk of change. And the second place runner-up gets $200,000 each player. I think that this is the perfect thing for baseball. 162 games. We know how mundane and vanilla it can get at times and repetitive. If they can just drop this in right before the All-Star break or after the All-Star break, and maybe what you do here with the in-season tournament, you cut some of the games in 162 to maybe 140. You do that before the All-Star break, and then maybe you give a little bit more pad after the in-season tournament. This is my pitch to you. You can critique it. You can support it. Love it or leave it. Major League Baseball doing an in-season tournament.
I love the idea of Major League Baseball becoming more innovative and trying to do something like this. I just don't find that it would be feasible. Number one, when you cut games off the schedule, that's money in terms of TV contracts and that stuff, which they will not do. I think the game could go to 150 game season. It will not happen, in my opinion, because of all the revenue that happens in TV. I love the idea of doing this. I just don't know how feasible it is in the sport of baseball, because there's so many different intricacies, like lining up pitching staffs and stuff. And in basketball, obviously there's more to it. They're still playing the 82 game season. It was structured a little bit differently. There was like floating schedules and stuff, but in theory, you've got your 13 to 15 guys on your roster. We run out there, we're trying to win it. We're hooping. Baseball's so different with pitching staffs and stuff. What if you're going all out?
And you injure one of your big starters. Sure.
So here is what I think could possibly make it work. There has to be more than an incentive than just a financial value to incentivize.
Absolutely.
Like like in the minor leagues, the first half of the season, if you win your division in the first half, you go to the playoffs, which is really cool, because if you lose all of your great prospects after the first half and they go from AA to AAA, which is kind of the natural progression, you still have an opportunity to compete in the playoffs. Yep. Again, I think
now what is the proper reward? You're not going to let someone clinch the playoffs in July.
To me, I'm not sure, but it has to go above just money, because you cannot in the middle of July or the middle of June. And also the thing about baseball is, if you're going to do an in-season tournament, are you going to go play a series and play 3 games against somebody? Or
are you going to do sudden death? That's the beauty of it. You can mix it up. Can you imagine a sudden death for, I don't know what the prize is. It can't just be money. I totally agree with you, but it can't be as far as clinching a playoff berth or securing home field advantage, just because you have no idea what that second half is going to look like.
Maybe you play for a draft pick, the winner.
Yeah. That also allows.
I don't know. In baseball, it would be much, much, much more difficult. I would, however, because a lot of folks, I think, see it as like games in the middle of the summer are meaningless. Obviously, it's not to the players. The game you win in June when you're down 5 in the 9th inning might come back to help you make the playoffs. Obviously,
Sure.
we know about that stuff. I love the idea of an in-season tournament. How can they get it to work in the sport of baseball where there's all that risk with injury? You can't be blowing. It's very intriguing. I would love to see baseball find a way to do it. Maybe one day, and we'll see. We'll see what they do. All right. That's
All right.
Steven Strom. I'm Kyle Seeloff. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to wrap things up on the Marlins Hot Stove Show. You're listening to Fox Sports 940 Miami and the iHeartRadio app.